All right, guys, Automated Garage back today with this 06 F250 here for a pinion seal leak. This is actually a good buddy of mine, works on a whole bunch of 6.0s too. He does not have a lift stout enough to pick these trucks up like we do here. So we're gonna fix his pinion seal because I sent him some other work to do for me, and we trade out stuff back and forth all the time. But anyways, I'll show you real quick how to do a pinion seal and put it back together and not over torque your crush lever. So we got our drive shaft off already. I just take side grinder, I put a little line there, I put a little line here that indexes where your drive shaft goes, so you put it all back in line because it's supposed to be all balanced from the factory. We've cleaned all the crud off from the nut here, so now we're getting ready to do the same thing. We're ready to index this nut with the shaft of the pinion here, and we're also going to take the micrometer and measure from the shoulder of the nut to the outer of the shaft here also. And then I go so far as to count the threads also. That verifies so you don't over torque anything and over tighten your crush sleeve and cause excessive pinion wear and heat here. All right, so I took my side grinder, put a little line in the end of my pinion there to mark that. It's probably gonna be hard to see, but I have a dimple right there on the nut also, so they correspond together. Took the micrometer and I got it set and locked here, marking our depth from the shaft. Sorry, show you there. From the shaft out, so that we set our depth back right there also. And I'm gonna count these threads and note that. It's just better to cover your bases and have more than one reference so that you can put it back right where you need to. We counted our grooves, we got 6 grooves. Back your nut off. Throw it on the floor like that.
Absolutely.
And this has to be pulled off here. So usually you have to actually use a wrench on this, but I just did this with my fingers, and as you can see, it's pulling it right off. It's not a very tight fit on this one. Just like that. You can see where our seal's been leaking here. This is not terrible. Usually a lot worse than this. So now, if you can, try not to just totally murder this thing so you can compare it to your new one if you need to. Lance already has the seal, so just take a flat screwdriver and scrape around the edge here and get all this crust off, and then you kind of start driving and working it out, and then you can get to a point where you can pry it out. The glue that kind of holds these in is totally gone on this one. Just like that. You're gonna lose just a little bit of fluid, not much. So now we're gonna clean the surface all up and not get anything in here on the bearing. And make sure you got a good mating surface on the outside and on the inside here. And then I actually run a little bead of RTV around the new seal also. And then I put RTV on these splines also, because you can have a little bit of fluid work out from there. All right, we're all cleaned up. Cleaned our outer surface and our inner surface up. Final wipe with a Brillo, a little bit of brake clean on it just to get that all clean and oil free. Went on and wiped our splines on our pinion also, so that would be oil free, so that when we put the hub back on with a little dab of RTV on here, it'll be able to dry and actually adhere to it some. I'm gonna put a small bead around our new pinion seal here. There's your part number. This really should be the same 99 through 07. Don't hold me to that. I know for sure 04 through 07. But anyways, there's your part number. So we're gonna get this all lubed up and get it drove in. So we got our new seal here. Just put a very thin bead of RTV around it. You ain't got to gobble it up a lot. It does have some sealant on it. I just always add a little bit. We got some of our red and tacky grease on your spring right there on the inner portion of the seal, because you don't want to knock that off or have it come off, because you wouldn't know it until you had it drove in. This was leaking later, and then that thing would get all chewed up in there on the pinion bearing. So put some grease on there so it won't try to pop off while you drive it in. So now it's just as simple as you get it started up here. You're going to work it in nice and easy with your hammer. Not big hits, just little taps. Work it all the way around until you feel like you have it seated all the way down. So all you're going for is little taps. Just going to drive it in until you feel like it's just good and solid all the way around. Forgot to show you, but put it ever so slight. Yeah, I can't show you now. Ever so slight amount. That's all right. You see, I just got to put a little bit of RTV on the splines there. That's just to keep any oil from working its way out of the splines. Putting that back on.
Come on, baby.
Bubba's good at puzzles.
Yeah. Square blocks, round holes.
We got just a little bit of Loctite in our nut here. I'm sure some people will say, hey, you're supposed to replace that nut. Just put a little Loctite on it. And now we tighten this down. We got our dot and our mark on the shaft, which is going to tell us where to stop on there so we don't crush our crush sleeve past where the bearing preload was already set to. All right, so there is our line. And if you can see, there's my dimple right there. So we're lined up that way. And counting our threads again, I had 6 grooves. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this outermost one right here is 6 grooves. This rear end has some excessive backlash. So this may not be a permanent fix. It'll fix the leak for now, but that's probably why the bearing or the pinion seal was leaking to begin with, which I didn't feel that. I should have felt it more before I took it apart, but it's back where it was at. So it is what it is for now. All right, we indexed our, well, Mark's supposed to be over there by you. Yeah, indexed our drive shaft back correctly. And like I said, this is a fix, and if you have that kind of slop in your rear end with some gear wear, I think this truck is 340,000 miles. 314, so Bubba says. Anyways, if you got a lot of wear in your gears and you feel like you got some bearing play and stuff in there, this is probably going to end up being a temporary fix. And by temporary, it may last a year or two and not leak any. So, or it may get wallered out here in the next 6 months because this pinion is just not tight and the bearing's like it needs to anymore because this rear end's just got some wear on it. But normally, this is an excellent fix and it's going to work for him for now. But that's how you replace your pinion seal. You just don't want to over crush or you don't want to crush the crush sleeve anymore because the bearing preload is set as what it is at already. You already have your shims all set up in this rear end. Otherwise, you'll create a whole lot of heat if you get too tight, or if you leave it too loose. Of course, you'll just have even more slop in your rear end than you need to have also. So just count your threads, index everything, measure it with a micrometer, everything else, and just double check all that. All right, guys, just a quick video on showing you how you can replace your pinion seal and eliminate a leak on your truck there. Not hard, just index everything so you don't over crush that crush sleeve, or actually you don't want to crush it at all anymore is what I mean to say. Just make sure you put it back where it was at, count your threads, use your micrometer, index everything, and you should be good to go on that. So we're going to send this back over to Lance and he won't have a leak, and I'm going to let him know that his rear end's got some slop in it. So this Automatic Garage signing out. I check out our other content on the channel here, a whole lot of Power Stroke, Ford, and coming stuff here on the channel. What do we got coming up? We got 2 head gasket jobs here. We got oil cooler on a 6.0 van. We got old Red over here. He's getting the 390 put back in it soon. We're putting a Yamaha Banshee together for Lee.
Working on Goldie.
Working on Goldie. Yeah, Goldie's getting 4-wheel drive swapped. Flatbed, we're going to pick the ranch hand bumper back up from the powder shop Wednesday. Oh, we got a bulletproof diesel external oil cooler got dropped off here today for another 6.0. But yeah, got a whole lot more stuff coming. We appreciate y'all watching. It's Automatic Garage signing out. We'll holler at you later.